You ever hear of the term a good cup? Someone who has a good head? Let's try to redefine that term. Because usually that generally is referencing someone that's smart. A good cup. But let's try to understand it a little bit deeper. The story is about Reb Pesach of Kobriner. Pesach of Kobriner was the grandson of the Heilige Reb Moshe Kobriner, one of the fathers of the Slonim Chassidus. And Reb Pesach of Kobriner was basically born into Rebbehood. If your father was a Rebbe and your grandfather was a Rebbe, you're probably going to be a Rebbe. But what happens to you if you just don't have the cup, the head, the intellect of your father, your grandfather, but you're born into it? Reb Pesach of Kobriner was exactly like this. And it killed him that day after day in the Beis Medrash, they would be sitting and learning, and Reb Pesach of Kobriner just, by him, it wasn't flowing. The learning was not coming to him naturally. Some cruel students in the Beis Medrash kind of picked up on this, and one day, in front of all the other students, they came up to him and said, Reb Pesach, what does this Tosfos say? And in front of everyone, basically, they made a mockery of him, and he ran outside the Beis Medrash. And the story is he ran to the forest, and he cried his eyes out. He didn't cry his eyes out because he was embarrassed from them, from the students, from the other people that they figured out who he really is. He wanted so badly to know how to learn, to understand how to learn, to love learning, and for the learning to flow. And he cried and cried and cried, begging God, pleading with him, saying he would do anything to be able to be a Talmid that's Chacham, to be a student that is actually wise, where the Torah flows within. This Reb Pesach of Kobriner ended up being one of the greatest Roshei Yeshivas. So let me ask you, friends, what's a good cup? A good head. A good head is not necessarily someone that knows how to learn, that things come to them naturally. A good cup could also be someone who knows how and when to ask for what, using your head for strong moments of prayer. This is the legacy of Rav Pesach of Kobriner.